So go back to Strasbourg now and listen to the first Vice President of the European Council, Maroš Šefčovič.
Plane ride away, a couple of hours, where security architecture of our continent is being challenged. We see old, failed ideas re-emerging of power block competition, of spheres of influence. And we Europeans are resolutely opposed to entire countries being once again treated so disdainfully as mere backyards. We categorically reject the threat of use of force, one of the fundamental principles that underpin European security as enshrined in the Helsinki Final Act. And we stand ready to take action if necessary. And we have made clear any further military aggression against Ukraine will have massive consequences and severe costs. At the same time, we welcome the recent diplomatic activity from US-Russia talks to the NATO-Russia Council and the OEC meeting, and the Commission remains in close contact with the US administration. We Europeans will do everything in our power to protect and nurture our model of peaceful democratic governance and its central tenets of dialogue and diplomacy. We will strengthen it from within and protect it against outside threats, from cyber attacks to hybrid threats, such as we have seen recently on the border with Belarus. For this, two projects will be particularly important in the coming months. With the strategic compass, our new European white paper on defence, we will set out our common strategic vision, while the defence package we aim to strengthen our capabilities. And I know how my colleague, High Representative and Vice President Josep Borrell is working closely with the Minister Le Drian and all the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defence in that respect. Mr. President Macron just made very important remarks on the importance of EU-Africa summit. Also, we in the Commission are looking at this occasion as a possibility of the new beginning, la nouvelle ouverture, new start in this very important strategic relationship. We very much appreciate your remarks on the Western Balkans, because they, rightfully so, should be on the top of our priority lists. And we've been, of course, listening very carefully about your wise words on our relationship with the United Kingdom. United Kingdom, they are our neighbours, our allies, and I think all of us in this House would like to see them again as our strategic partners. For that to happen, we need to rebuild the trust, and trust is being built through respecting the agreements which we recently signed and ratified, be it on withdrawal, be it on trade and cooperation, or be it proper implementation of the protocol on Ireland and Northern Ireland. And we, on the side of the European Union, on the side of the Commission, will show all the flexibility, all the goodwill to make this happen, but we need a good partner on the other side. Mr. President, you've been highlighting how important our unity and cooperation in the world is. And I'm very glad that the French Presidency is going to focus on all the important priorities, because the world around us is indeed becoming more unpredictable, and Europeans rightly expect us to protect that. Honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, the need to focus on threats of today and the challenges of tomorrow is, of course, also true for the European economy. Despite the pandemic, we have already embarked on the modernisation of the economy and the society towards a more sustainable way of living and working, a way of living that preserves both the health of the planet and the livelihoods of our people. That is our economic growth model for the next 10 years and beyond. We have already built a solid foundation for this through Next Generation EU. With this €800 billion recovery programme, we are not only investing to finally put the pandemic behind us, we are also investing in our sustainable and digital future. We are tackling the structural challenges of our economies while ensuring that everyone can benefit from this future. Large companies, as well as our small and medium-sized enterprises, farmers as well as low-income households. And the early success of our approach is already proving us right. Studies show that thanks to the Next Generation EU, growth in Europe is 1.5% higher than it would have been with national recovery programmes alone. Dans le même temps, notre nouveau modèle de croissance doit garantir la souveraineté technologique, économique et politique de l'Europe. Il doit également permettre à nos entreprises et notre marché unique de bénéficier pleinement de nouvelles opportunités. C'est pourquoi nous voulons rapatrier la technologie permettant de fabriquer les plus petits semi-conducteurs de la planète ici en Europe. Et c'est exactement ce que nous allons faire avec le European Chips Act que nous présenterons dans les prochaines semaines. Tout comme elles alimentent les ordinateurs du monde entier, ces puces sont au cœur de la course technologique mondiale. Sans elles, il n'y a pas de numérique. Et je sais que mes collègues, le vice-président exécutif Vestager et le commissaire Breton, également présents ici avec nous aujourd'hui, seront d'accord avec moi sur ce point. Je suis ravi que la France fasse des dépendances stratégiques et de la résilience de la chaîne d'approvisionnement
ensuring the supply chain strategies and independence are a key point of its presidency. We need to move into new areas and forge our own destiny by ensuring we have a long-term view. We also have legislation on digital markets and digital services, the Digital Market Act and the Digital Services Act. They are the pillar of our European digital strategy. We're going to limit the powers of internet giants so that we can ensure that competition remains fair, particularly for small and medium enterprises, because they are those that drive innovation here in Europe. They're the ones that pay taxes and the ones that take on board social responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, there was no doubt in Simone Veil's mind that a union of democracy is the most powerful and most resilient form of governance possible. During the coming months of the French presidency, we will be working extremely hard to bring our Europe closer to the Europe that she dreamed of.
And deliver sustainable growth. United, we will defend our values and strengthen our security. And united, we will work for the benefit of all Europeans, each and every day. And this is exactly what such a great Europeans like David Sassoli would like us to do. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Thank you very much, Vice President Šefčovič. We now move to the speakers of the political groups. We start with Manfred Weber for the group of the EPP.
Madam President, Roberta, that sounds good. Mr. President, welcome and thank you for your speech. France is ready. And after your speech, I'm sure that Europe will be in good hands in the next 6 months. The priorities are well set, and if I may say, from an EPP point of view, I hear defence, I see industry policy, I see jobs. Your presidency will even organise a conference on the fight against cancer, what I saw. So many EPP priorities are in, and that's why you can count on the biggest political family in the European Union to deliver on these issues. We need progress in Europe. I want to focus in my contribution today on more general considerations. My first consideration is no more words, we need actions now in Europe. We listened to your Sorbonne speech in Athens. You had a great speech in 2018 here in this House, also today. We hear a lot about a vision for Europe, about sovereignty, about a stronger Europe, and I deeply believe in what you say in this perspective for Europe. But in the last 5 years, is Europe really more sovereign than before? Every 6 months we welcome here in this chamber a new presidency. Angela Merkel was here, Prime Minister Janša, Prime Minister Costa. For a Prime Minister, it's probably interesting to be here and to present ideas on the European stage. For us, it is a kind of a routine, and sometimes I even must say a kind of a boring routine, because we hear on the big things on the agenda every 6 months the same. And that's why the question is, can we speed up? And I give you a few considerations, a few examples on this. Since years we know about Putin's behavior. He threatens us. He wants to go to war against Ukraine. He wants to build up an empire of oligarchs against our idea of freedom. And the European Council, let's be frank, is not capable today to put a firm stand in today's world on the table. Nord Stream 2, that's my opinion, must be stopped if there is a military escalation in the Ukraine. But what is going on Council side? And after Afghanistan and Ukraine, I think it's obvious that we need now someone in the Council who goes to the Council and tell them we have to stop unanimous vote on foreign affairs issues. Who will do so? Who will do so? Take rule of law as another example. Article 7 procedure. I voted personally here in this House in favour of an Article 7 against Hungary. And my party today is in Slovakia, in Czech Republic, in Poland with Donald Tusk, the front runners for rule of law and for a pro-European approach. That is EPP today. But on the other hand, I see in Council that Article 7 procedure is not even on the table of the Council. You do press statements among leaders, but when Viktor Orban and when you are sitting together, you are not ready to talk about this. And let's be also clear on the question of voting. You are even obliged to vote now on the Article 7 procedure on Council, but nothing is happening. We fought as Parliament for a binding rule of law mechanism, and Commission will do what we asked them to do, but the Council is not capable to deliver. There are two examples for what I say what I mean when I say we need now actions, not any more words. That is what Europe needs. And if you let me add another point, and second consideration, I think we have to consider that in the Western democracies we see more and more splits. And a real big question for us is how can we keep our societies together? Cities against rural areas, young generation against an aging continent, vaccinated people against unvaccinated people. I try also to explain this on an example. Yellow vest is not only a French phenomenon. Yes, we are committed to the fight against climate change, but when we discuss the issues on Green Deal now in the next years, we have to take care about the poor. Energy poverty is unacceptable for us in Europe. A higher energy costs will also bring high inflation, and that will also be a problem for the poor in our societies. And that's why we have to put this subject in the center of the debate about Green Deal. Otherwise, populism will grow and the transition will fail. And that's why EPP will take care about this. And allow me to add a final point, a more general consideration again on this splitting up about the political concept. You know that I'm a Christian Democrat. My party, as EPP, we are bridge builders by definition. In some of your contributions in the past, I understood that you are more separating between the progressive and the populists to create this split in a society. I don't think that this is healthy on the long run. I don't think so. I think it is good to have a competition in the center of the landscape between different political ideas among Democrats and not creating the split towards the populists. Probably with this approach we make the populists even bigger than they are. And that's why I'm happy, let me say this as an EPP politician, that now with Valérie Pécresse we have a real competition in the center of the landscape. I'm happy about this, and maybe, let's see about the French voters, the French voters will make also gender balance a reality, that they vote the first time for a French female pro-European candidate. So that is allowed as a party politician, if I may say it this way, Mr. President. But what I really like, and what I really like is and Mr. President, please really, seriously speaking, what I really like is your ambitious approach for Europe, and especially is the support for this chamber. 210 million people voted 2019 for this parliament. The second biggest democracy in the world is Europe. And to strengthen this institution and to show that the decisions of the future are made in this institution is what we all believe in. We count on you to transform the outcome of the conference for the future of Europe in reality. Mr. President, welcome. Time is running. Let's keep Europe united and no more words. Let's practice actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Weber. I now give the floor to Irache Garcia Perez on behalf of the S&D Group.
Gracias, Presidenta.
Thank you, President.
Presidente Macron,
President
bienvenido al
Macron, welcome
Parlamento
to the
Europeo.
European Parliament.
Esta presidencia rotatoria del Consejo se produce en un momento
Your rotating presidency of the Council is taking place at a time when the pandemic has enabled Europe to take historic steps forward in the integration project. In your New Year's speech, you promised a change of direction in 2022 to achieve a Europe that is powerful in the world, fully sovereign, free in its choices, and in charge of its own destiny. Europe will only be powerful in the world if it's able to eradicate poverty and inequalities. European democracy needs the construction of a social Europe that curbs the most damaging instincts of ultra-right-wing populism. We need to conclude the reforms that are on the table, such as establishing minimum wages across the European Union, regulating the working conditions of platform workers, setting out a minimum wage, or the implementation of the social fund for the climate. Our power in the world will also depend on whether we're capable of living in equality, unblock the Anti-Discrimination Directive, support the Gender Violence Directive, and push for the necessary agreements to do away with the salary gap and break the glass ceiling that prevents women from being present on company boards. Europe will have no future if it leaves aside the millions of women that make up half of our population. There will be no present or future if we don't defend the only tool able to protect the values that unite us, the rule of law. We need to apply the conditionality mechanism and maintain a commitment not to approve the Polish and Hungarian recovery plans until their governments return to the path of democracy and comply with Court of Justice rulings. A powerful Europe will be the Europe that takes the lead on an energy transition that's fairer and more sustainable and avoids disastrous climate change. We're aware of the specific circumstances of France and Germany, but the Commission's proposal on nuclear and gas cannot weaken our global leadership on renewable energies, the only green energy sources. France needs to show powerful leadership and take advantage of the European response model that was established during the pandemic. Together, we set up the most ambitious recovery plan in the history of Europe, worth over €750 billion, backed up by pooled debt. Now we need to prevent premature adjustments that would kill off our economic growth. Austerity made the richest richer and left the poorest worse off. We need a reform of the fiscal rules that fosters fair growth and supports the public investment necessary to support the priorities that we're establishing in Europe, such as the green and digital transitions. The time has come to step up our plans for a defence Europe. The withdrawal from Afghanistan, the AUKUS Pact, and the crises with Russia and Belarus should mean that we accept the development of strategic sovereignty. But Europe cannot grow within a fortress. We need solidarity with the world, and the Parliament continues to hope that the Council will agree the only possible tool to avoid the deaths of human beings on our borders, a migration pact which is based on solidarity. Mr. Macron, your presidency won't go down in history because of your talents as a speaker, but as a result of the laws that together we can bring forward. We need to move forward rapidly. The motto of your presidency concludes with the idea of a sense of belonging, and belonging requires public conviction. Put young people and those who are most vulnerable at the heart of your presidency, and they will never again ask you to take the European flag down from the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Let me hold my hand out to you, because the Socialist and Democrat family wants every citizen to feel a sense of pride when they see the European blue light up monuments in the towns and cities of our Union. As Jean Monnet taught us, we're not forming a coalition of states, we're uniting people. Thank you.